Hello, hello everyone, Marjorie Roman here, and we are in another episode of Creating Wealth with the one and only, the amazing Robert G. Allen. Thank you so much for coming today.
Welcome everybody again. I hope you've been learning something from these episodes with you. Everyone will contain a little kernel of knowledge, a little golden nugget for you to take advantage of. I guarantee every time you watch, you're going to learn something that'll change your life. So welcome. Hello again.
And we're super excited today because we're going to find the main points that we should be thinking about when we're investing into real estate. So first of all, how do you go about defining your financial goals before you start looking into properties?
Well, that's a great question because it's all about your dreams, and real estate is a vehicle to your dreams. So what are your dreams? What do you want? When do you want it? How much do you want? Who do you want it with? Who's going to help you get it? Why do you want it? And how much do you want it? And finally, how are you going to get it? And usually people ask the how question first, and that's the wrong way to do it. First, tell me what you want. And that your brain needs to know that. What do you want? And specifically, number-wise, you have to numberize your goals. Most people don't. They say things like, I want to be financially free. Wrong goal. Tell me how much money you need to earn every single month. So your brain knows the number. It can calculate, can help you find the opportunities that are around you to bring it to you. That's the first goal. And now you say, okay, let's suppose you want to make $10,000 a month that flows to you without you having to work. You've retired, or at least you have a retirement stream coming in like that from real estate. You set your goal as a vehicle to get you there. How many properties are going to need to buy in order to generate that kind of revenue? And therefore, now you can look at real estate and understand how it's going to be the vehicle to your dreams.
That's true. And I feel like if you don't have a set number for the amount of money that you want to get every single month, it's just not tangible enough for you to actually feel prompted to accomplish that goal.
It's too
you
vague.
need to have something more solid,
Yes.
more tangible, more specific, so you know exactly what you're looking for, how to get there, and do all the calculations so you can actually achieve that. What about the financing of the property? That's also one of the factors that we should be thinking about. How do you know if it's better to use your own money or finance it? Because typically, people tell you, yeah, you need to use your own money, you need to have cash in order to invest, but we're with a creative real estate maestro. So what are your opinions on that?
This is one that really is fun to answer because almost everyone is going to say, if they want to buy real estate, how can I fix my credit? So they work on that for 6 months. How can I crimp my own budget? So stop spending and stop going to movies and eating out at restaurants to be able to save their money for a down payment. While they're doing all this saving for 2 or 3 years, the property values have gone up because of inflation. And then by the time they get ready to buy their property, they don't have enough down payment because the prices have gone up in the meantime. And so I'm going to say to you, don't save for a down payment. Stop it right now. You look for highly motivated sellers, which are getting more and more, and try to negotiate nothing down techniques that don't require you to have a down payment. And you solve their problems with your creative solutions. And sometimes a person owns a property that's free and clear, and they don't want the down payment. When a person has lots of profit in a building and it's free and clear, a lot of times they'll say, well, if you cash me out, I'm going to have to pay a whole huge chunk of that to the IRS. Is there a way that I could avoid taxes? Yes. Rather than me negotiating and trying to beat you down in your price so I can buy a wholesale, I'll pay your retail price. But I want nothing down, no money down. And I'll make you monthly payments on that higher price. I got to make sure that I can rent it out for enough to cover that higher payment. Yes, you've got to do that analysis. But don't wait to buy real estate. Don't wait to save money to buy real estate. Don't wait to fix your credit to buy real estate. Don't wait to get a better job, have more income to buy real estate. Stop it. Stop it. Get into real estate now. Using my techniques, nothing down. I wrote the book about it. 50 nothing down techniques. Anybody can do this. Is it easy? No, of course not. If it was easy.
Nothing worth in life is easy.
Yeah, exactly. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Exactly.
But the smart ones are doing it using my techniques now. So do it.
Exactly. And I feel like I love when you teach us about all of these techniques, because then again, it tells us about all the resources that we do not have, but somebody else may have those resources. So you can tap into those.
Exactly.
So there are multiple ways that you can get into real estate. Also, another of the things that we should be considering, I feel like, it's what goal you have for the property that you're acquiring. How do you define whether if it's a property that you want to flip or if it's a property that you want to keep on the long term and rent it out? How do you know
When you
which
read
one?
my book, Creating Wealth, it explains a simple strategy that I've said many times and will continue to say forever. You should be buying 2 properties a year. One of those properties should be a keeper. That means it's a nice one in a nice location, has a greater probability of increasing in value. It's not going to give you a headache. It might not be in a condition that would cause you to have to keep fixing it up. So keep one and rent it out for the long term. Flip one. Find one, and maybe using some techniques that I've been learning recently, you flip them before you own them.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's what really flipping is all about. Most people, when they think of flipping, they think, I buy the property, I put my down payment down, I now own it. I now fix it up for the next 6 months. I now put more money into it than I thought I was going to have to put into it. And therefore, now I increased its value. Therefore, it is worth more. Therefore, I put it on the marketplace, and they pay me less than what I thought I was going to get. Oh, no. And therefore, my profit is probably less than I was hoping to get. That's
profit.
That's fix and flip. Now, really flipping is where you tie it up on a contract, and the seller has agreed to sell it to you at a certain price that you've negotiated and certain terms that you've negotiated. And now you have a 1 month, 6 months, a 6 week, 2 month period of time, which is a short-term option. An option is when you control it, and you control it with a little bit of money, which is $100, $1,000 as earnest money, and you put that into an escrow so it's safe. You don't give it to the seller so the seller can put it in his or her bank account. It goes into an escrow subject to several things. Subject to your partner approving after having inspected the property. So it's subject to your partner's approval, subject to your inspection, subject to your getting a property inspection report. You know, for $400 or $500, you can hire a professional who will rip your house apart. And now they'll tell you every bad thing there is to do with it. This is a negotiating ploy, by the way, because sometimes you go, hey, I know you needed X amount of down payment, but to fix up the property, it's going to cost me another $15,000. So we're going to deduct that from the down payment.
Right.
And therefore, you just lowered your down payment by $15,000. Well, don't the things need to be fixed in the house? I mean, isn't that why you had the property inspection company come through and find out what's wrong with it? You can probably fix all the things they've highlighted that are really necessary for a few $100, maybe a few $1,000. But you got a $15,000 credit. That's because the professional told you so. You know, a recent property I bought, the roof was not great. Oh, no. It was okay. It wasn't leaking. It's been on there for 20 years. And yeah, the property inspection company said, there's a problem here, there's a problem here. So we fixed that for a few $100. And yes, eventually we want to get a new roof anyway. We want a different roof, a different look, things like that nature. But point is, I got a huge credit at the closing because of the problems that were found. So these situations come up all the time when you're buying, and you can lower your down payment using techniques like this.
That's true. And then again, you are using resources from other areas in order to fix your own problems. So for example, you can reach out to multiple professionals in order to get their opinion about a deal before you even purchase the deal. What are some of the ways that you can tell if this property is worth fixing for when you start acquiring it?
Well, you go back to comps, comparative market analysis. Ooh, okay. What has sold recently, within a few months, close to nearby this current property? And of course, you want to find their price per square foot. How big was the lot? How many bedrooms did these other properties have? You want to find real comparables that somebody in this marketplace paid X amount of dollars for that house over here. Therefore, if I can buy this one for X, that's retail. Now, if I can buy this one for X minus 10,000, X minus 30,000, X minus 50,000, that's investing. That's smart. So first we got to find out what a property selling for. And I've always recommended that you should have your own buying farm. That means a target territory that you select. That's maybe a mile square. And inside that mile, a mile this way, a mile that way, there's inside about 2,000 properties. And every year, about 10 to 20% of those properties will go up on the market and will sell. And they will be the new comps.
That's right.
And people will be willing to pay for it, and therefore that's what it's worth per square foot. Well, since you drive through this neighborhood at least once a week, you start seeing the for sale signs. And you realize that people really are selling property in here. And then you even ring the doorbell. I saw there was a for sale sign here, and now it's gone. It's sold. Would you mind telling me how much you sold it for? Because I'm planning on buying a property, down the street here. They might tell you, they might not. But if they do, it's more information that you put on your map, and you put the comp there. Your comp. The property on Elm Street sold for X. The property on Valentine Street sold for Y. It was comparable to what I'm looking for. Now you becoming expert, you don't have to do the comps. You probably should, because you can quickly check the comps with a software program that's available radically inexpensively, $50 a month. You can solve it quickly by looking, but you will be your own appraiser because you have kept tabs on the properties that have sold in your buying farm. And you realize that if there's 1,000 properties and 100 of them will go on market for sale this year, when somebody comes up for sale and you see a for sale sign, you go immediately and ask them what the price is. And if they tell you a number that's lower than what that property should be worth in your buying farm, then you make an offer on the spot.
That's true, yeah.
You buy it. You make an offer immediately. No, you make a low ball offer, a lower ball, not too low ball that offends them. But if they tell you it's priced at, let's say, $300,000, and you go, and it's worth $350,000, $375,000, because you've seen other comps very similar in that little area. You say, I can't pay you $300,000. But you're going to have a commission to a realtor. This is if it's for sale by owner. The commissioned realtor, that's $18,000 right there. And I'm going to have some fix up. I think I can see that's got some deferred maintenance. I'll offer you $250,000. Now it's worth $375,000, $350,000. And sometimes they're desperate enough, they'll go, yeah, I'll take it. Or they're moving to another house. They bought across the country. They already bought the other house. They don't need the money from this house.
They just need to get out.
That's right. So every once in a while, like once in a year, somebody is going to have a property that they'll take your lower ball offer, and now you found the one. Can you do that twice in a year? Probably two times in a year in your buying farm. It's where you're an expert. But obviously, you want to buy anywhere you can find a highly motivated seller. Take it, buy it, go for it.
That's true. Just make sure that you have the right techniques that Bob has taught us all of these podcasts. So then again, thank you so much, Bob. And thank you to our audience. There you have it. Your time is now. And just make sure that you have the right techniques for you to apply it on the right location and on the price that you get on the deal. We're going to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.